Battlefield 6 has had a very interesting year. For a game that was long forgotten about for the better half of a decade, Battlefield came back strong this year. They won our hearts and they acted like the game we needed. Somewhere along the line though, they lost the momentum that they built up. This isn't necessarily a video to bash Battlefield or EA or DICE. You can just think of this as a year-end review, or in Battlefield 6's case, a final quarter review of the game. I just want to share my final thoughts, and I want to talk about the rise of Battlefield 6, the mistakes they made along the way, what we have coming up next year, what I hope to see from Battlefield 6 moving forward, and close it out with my final thoughts on the game. If you like Battlefield content and gaming content in general, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe to join the evolution. Alrighty, let's get to it. Alright, you've heard it before, but Battlefield 6 became the top-selling game of the year, with its launch sales outperforming any title in 2025 across platforms, and even posting the biggest launch month in 3 years. It actually amazes me that people still don't believe that this game can't be the best Battlefield, because we must have forgotten how Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 launched. We might just be remembering those games with a bit too much nostalgia and looking at them with our rose-tinted glasses. And this isn't going to be a Call of Duty versus Battlefield video, but I will be comparing the two first-person shooter titans quite a bit here. It could have been predicted that Battlefield 6 would have had such great success with how well they did during the open beta, setting Steam records for concurrent players. This was outpacing Call of Duty beta figures, and its full release went on to shatter Call of Duty's all-time Steam peak within hours. If you told us this years ago, this wouldn't be believable whatsoever. People would look at you and say bait used to be believable. No matter how bad Call of Duty has ever gotten, no one would have guessed that Battlefield would have came back this crazy. This was the best multiplayer game of this year. And honestly, if it wasn't for Arc Raiders coming out, it would have been the best selling in general. It's no secret that they capitalized on the boots on the ground that everyone has been waiting for years. However, the real error was how they went about it. Battlefield dropped the ball on 3 different occasions this year, and you can probably guess when and what they were. If you go to any community page, any thread, any YouTube video, you're going to see a blend of people from the Call of Duty community and the Battlefield community going back and forth. And that's because this game targeted the Call of Duty community. It's obvious with the map designs, the gunplay, and the movement. This game is still Battlefield, but the line that divided Battlefield from Call of Duty is now becoming a blur and very difficult to see. This game almost doesn't play much different from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. With the maps being much smaller than previous Battlefields and the introduction of a Battle Royale and a Battle Pass, this game became the Call of Duty that everyone wanted years ago. But that's where Battlefield made their first mistake. A lot of Battlefield players don't feel like they're being heard or represented in this new edition of the franchise. I feel like DICE catered way too much to the Call of Duty fast-paced shooter crowd, which is great to bring in more people, players, and new fans, but it's not good for the longevity or the core of the fan base. I mean, most Battlefield fans are okay with hit registration issues, desync, and some connection problems, because let's be real, all previous Battlefields have had it done before, and all previous Battlefields have made a comeback, except these two. There was no saving you. But once you start turning your back on the OGs, that's when your numbers are going to start to drop. The difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield is that Battlefield has never had to grind out everything in one game in a single year. And that's the issue that this current generation of players is having on this game. We just want everything now. Which leads us to our second biggest issue, how Portal flopped. For the early release of Portal, the biggest thing it was used for wasn't even map creation, it was just used for XP lobbies. XP lobbies literally kill a game because if you unlock everything in the first day, then there's nothing else to do. And in that same notion, if everyone sees that another player has everything, they're going to want to do the same because of FOMO. It's a lose-lose, which just leads to a crazy cycle of FOMO and a soulless grind. And trust me, the grind is real in this game. The Battle Pass itself is an insane grind, but I digress since that can be changed within a season. Anyways, at some point you have to sit down and ask yourself, if you have everything unlocked within the first 2 months of playing, then what's the point in playing afterwards? The game doesn't have a ranked system and it doesn't truly need one. Going back to Portal, Portal also became too difficult to navigate for most players because they would need to outsource and use their phone or their PC in order to find specific lobbies, unless they had a code from their favorite content creator or their friend or from somewhere. If you go to Portal now, what you're going to find is just a bunch of XP lobbies, training with bots, XP, and I know we've all seen that one Jeep XP continuous explosion lobby. If a player wants to, they should be able to just join in on a Duck Hunt, a Gulf of Linden conquest match, or any other remaster that the community has built. Not search through a whole catalog just to find one specific game that they want. Nothing's more frustrating than finding all of these different game modes, loading it up, and finding out it's not the right one. Portal can actually be one of the things that saved this game, and I believe it will be. The final nail that put Battlefield down this year was the Winter Offensive. Now, you've already seen the talk on the Winter Offensive. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on it. There are tons of videos talking about it, and most of the issues are already fixed. Keyword, most. But for those who aren't that wary of it, the Winter Offensive update came with audio fixes, a new map variant, a new mode, new acts, and overall a lot of good content. However, on the downside, it made hit registration and desync worse for a lot of players. Fortunately, I didn't experience much of this, but a lot of the community did, and this game tanked massively because of this. No one wants to play if they're crashing or not getting kills that they should have gotten. If players weren't already jumping ship, they were definitely going to after this if they got affected. With all three of these things hitting back to back to back, Battlefield 6 took a massive hit in popularity. And while I personally don't necessarily agree with this take, but the community is frustrated and they're saying that the game is stale with the lack of new content coming out. While I personally wouldn't say that the game is stale or that they aren't making enough content, they did make a few mistakes along the way which killed the honeymoon phase really quick. Most games have a few months at least for a honeymoon phase. Battlefield had maybe a few weeks. I'm sure you guys have seen on other socials what the data miners have found. And I gotta say, Battlefield has a lot of things pushing out next year. They're bringing things back like the Scorpion Evo, new maps, potentially some remasters, portal updates, and overall quality of life fixes. 2026 is looking really bright for Battlefield, even though it had bad luck with retention this year. The things I'm hoping to see from Battlefield moving forward next year are definitely portal updates. I want this to be a full-on rival to Forge mode from Halo. I mean, they're already halfway there with Duck Hunt being a mode that you can look up now. I'm also really looking forward to the tournament kicking off sometime next year. This gives some real competitive outlook for Battlefield that I might even try my hand in. If it's a first-person shooter, you can play it competitively. That's just the trick of the trade, the name of the game. I don't make the rules. I am also hoping for them to change the progression system, even just a little bit, even if it's just for the battle pass, because I'm about level 160, mid 160, and I'm still not done with this battle pass. Something's gotta change. I don't think any other game has you grinding over 100 levels for one battle pass. Overall, this is still going to be one of my main games, but who knows, I might be moving to Arc Raiders or Marvel Rivals soon. This Battlefield has definitely scratched my first-person shooter needs though. It's basic, hits boots on the ground, and has really good gunplay. And when people say this game is dead, all I have to say is just remember how Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 started. This game hasn't even tapped into the surface of its potential yet. I wanted to push this video out before the new year started to be an end of the year kind of review, and I think I made that timing. By the time you're watching this, I hope you've had a good start to the new year, and I hope you've enjoyed your New Year's Eve. If you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, and turn those noties on if you want more gaming content. This will support a small-time content creator and put me in the algorithm. This also lets me know what content you guys want to see. Let me know down in the comments below what you're looking forward to in 2026 with Battlefield, or in general. We are hitting 2026 hard with content. I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.